Hello everyone, I'll be talking about operations planning puzzles from my book, The Search for Value in Supply Chains. Operations planning puzzles, as we all know, deals with several objective functions, and most of the time these objective functions actually clash against each other. Let's start with the very simplest and the fundamental objective functions that planners have to deal with, which is stock turns. And as we all know, if you are carrying an inventory on an average about, let's say, 2 months of inventory at any point of time, and that would mean, and you are actually selling and replacing your inventory almost like 6 times in a year. So if you want to improve stock turns, in this case, which is 6, you would obviously have to see that you are keeping useful inventory in your system and you're able to sell the inventory which you really want to sell. So this is a very, very fundamental objective function which improves your cash flows in the system. On the other hand, you will also have to deal with another objective function, which is delivery performance. And delivery performance is not just for one customer or a series of customers who are very important for you. It has got to be improved over a range of almost all customers. You cannot leave a customer out of the equation. And this would essentially mean that you've got to quote the right delivery dates which would be acceptable to the customer, first of all. And then you should be also able to adhere to those delivery dates. Now, this is not a simple matter. Let's take a few more objective functions to deal with the puzzle. And one of that would be, let's say, sales surprise, which essentially means that what is your actual sales to your forecasted sales. So this ratio, if it improves, it means that you are doing far well in terms of forecasting your sales. And that is, again, a very important puzzle that planners have to deal with, which is about demand sensing and demand shaping, and then of course matching supply with demand. And it has been found that the sales surprise actually regresses well with the stock turns. So if the stock turns are higher, it means that you're able to actually sell better. Now, is there any connection between stock turns and delivery performance? Well, that is not very simple. Because delivery performance would mean that the customers are all sharing the same infrastructure, the same processes, sometimes the same bottlenecks in the process. And so therefore, you've got to deal with this puzzle in a slightly different manner. There's got to be a degree of rules which has to be adhered to. And then there's got to be process and systems which is taken care of in your sales and operations planning process. But inventory is a very, very important piece of the puzzle. And you've got to really see that at every stocking point, you just have the right inventory to be able to deal with your delivery performance. And of course, there are these issues of complexities which will come in and your visibility of the whole supply chain. All that adds up to your solution. But the essential and the important part of all this is that thankfully we have the right optimizers in place, the algorithms in place, which is doing far better than the heuristics with which the planners have worked in the past. And so all of this comes in a very, very simple manner in my chapter on operations planning. And if you read this chapter from my book, you will be able to understand this far better.